They warned every newcomer on Station Elysia in the same way. Dante approached the Vharin woman. Don't make eye contact. Don't even breathe near her. Naturally, I assumed it was all just an exaggeration. You know how it is on these deep space outposts. People love their dramatic gossip, and the more isolated we are, the wilder the stories get. But even my supervisor, a grizzled veteran of a dozen star systems, pulled me aside on my first day. Eliand, in his voice a low whisper. She's dangerous, kid. A vampire species. Drinks bioluminal plasma. Pretty enough to make you forget she can peel the hull off a shuttle with one hand. Just avoid her. I nodded like any sensible human would. But here's the thing. I wasn't sensible. Not when my curiosity starts tugging at me like a planet's gravity. The first time I laid eyes on her, she was sitting all alone in the station's twilight lounge. It was the only place dim enough for her kind. A permanent dusk broken by the soft glow of alien flora. Her skin gave off this faint light, like moonlight trapped under a layer of crystal. From her forehead, two sharp, obsidian horns curled back with this strange, elegant grace. And her eyes, they were a deep, reflective red, and they seemed to see everything, aware of every single movement in the room. Everyone else kept a very deliberate, very respectful 5-meter distance. It was like an invisible wall surrounded her. Me, I was just trying my best not to stare, but it was difficult. She was captivating. For a whole week, this silent routine continued. I'd be working my shift in maintenance, usually wrestling with the station's ancient coolant lines. And every evening, she would appear in the lounge. She'd sit at the same table, reading from a holotablet made of some shimmering, unidentifiable Vharin alloy. And even when the lounge was packed, when spacers were practically spilling their drinks on each other, no one ever sat beside her. The seat next to her remained perpetually empty. That is, until the night she chose me. I had just finished my shift, still covered in a fine layer of coolant dust. I was holding a mug of what the bar optimistically called tea, and I was exhausted. Just as I was about to find my usual corner table, the lights overhead flickered violently. Station Elysia did that sometimes. Half the wiring was older than Earth's internet, a constant reminder of how far from home we really were. I found my spot and sat down, alone as always, ready to just zone out for an hour. But then a shadow fell over me. I looked up. It was her. That 5-meter bubble didn't just shrink, it vanished entirely. She was standing right there. Is this seat taken? Say, ask it. Her voice was soft, but it had this strange resonance to it, a quality that seemed to brush right up against your mind. I just froze. Every instinct, every warning I'd been given, screamed at me. I knew what every other species on this station knew. Vharin never asked permission. They didn't share tables, and they certainly didn't seek out company. So why was she talking to me? No, I finally managed to stammer out. Go ahead. She sat down with a quiet grace, folding her long, dark cloak beneath her. As she settled in, the air around our table seemed to chill slightly. It wasn't unpleasant, just different. A change in the very atmosphere. You watch me? She said. It wasn't an accusation, just a simple statement of fact. I could feel the heat crawling up my neck. I was caught. Sorry, I mumbled. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. Her lips curved into a small, almost imperceptible smile. You didn't? She replied. Most look away. You don't. My heart started thumping hard enough to power a small maintenance drone. This was surreal. I'm Lyra, she added, her voice still quiet. Evan, I replied, my own voice feeling thin. She studied me for a long moment with those luminous red eyes. It felt like she was seeing more than just the guy in the dirty work uniform. You are human, she observed, but you do not fear easily. I let out a weak, nervous laugh. Who said, I'm not terrified right now. She tilted her head, a gesture that was surprisingly. You're sent, she said. I nearly choked on my tea. My scent. You can smell fear. Yes, she confirmed without hesitation. And you smell curious. Her head tilted a little more. Curiosity is a rare quality here. I managed another shaky laugh. Yeah, well, I guess I never grew out of it. For the first time, her gaze softened, the intensity in her red eyes dialing back just a little. Many fear us because they misunderstand us, she explained. We do not hunt sapient species. Our plasma feeding, it is harvested ethically from non-sentient life forms. But rumors spread faster than truth in the vacuum of space. That doesn't seem fair, I said, the words coming out before I could stop them. It is not, she agreed. Yet I have grown used to solitude. Something in her tone, a faint thread of melancholy, tugged at me. Loneliness sounds the same no matter what language you speak, or what species you are. Well, I said, feeling a surge of boldness. You're welcome to sit with me. Anytime. Lyra blinked, a slow, deliberate motion. Then, completely unexpectedly, she leaned forward just a little. No one has offered that before, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Just then, the lights flickered again, but this time, they were followed by the piercing shriek of alarms. Warning, the station's AI announced, its voice calm but urgent. Coolant breach detected in Sector D. Potential reactor destabilization imminent. My stomach dropped into my boots. That was my sector, my responsibility. I have to go, I said, jumping to my feet, the tea forgotten. Lyra rose with a fluid, seamless grace. I will assist, she declared. You don't have to do that, I started to argue, but she cut me off. I choose to. We ran. The corridors were a blur of flashing red lights and blaring sirens. When we reached the maintenance corridor in Sector D, thick kissing mist was already flooding the area. It was coolant, super-pressurized and volatile. If it reached the wrong conduit, the entire reactor could go critical. I pulled out my tools, my hands shaking, my heart hammering against my ribs. Evan Lyra said quietly from beside me, her voice cutting through the noise. Hello, me. Before I could even protest, she stepped directly into the freezing, caustic mist. Her skin began to shimmer, glowing brighter than before, almost as if she was absorbing the cold, drawing strength from it. She reached out with her bare hands and gripped the cracked, shuddering pipe. There was a horrific shriek of stressed metal, and then, with what looked like impossible ease, she bent it closed, pinching the rupture shut. He just stared, completely dumbfounded. That should be impossible, I stammered. Not for me, she replied simply. Working together, we managed to seal the breach properly, reroute the coolant flow, and restabilize the reactor feed. When the alarms finally silenced, leaving an eerie quiet in their wake, I leaned against the wall and exhaled a shaky breath I didn't realize I'd even holding. You saved the station, I said, looking at her in awe. Lyra looked away, a gesture that seemed almost shy. You saved me from another night alone, she said softly. Those words hit me harder than any coolant blast ever could. The formidable, feared Vharin woman was lonely. Lyra, I said, my voice gentle, you don't have to sit alone anymore. Not if you don't want to. She stepped closer, the space between us shrinking until I could feel the faint coolness radiating from her skin. Her voice lowered, becoming a near whisper that was meant only for me. Then I will sit with you, Evan, from now on. And in that moment, for the first time since arriving on Elysia, I wasn't afraid. I was honored, because out of everyone on this station, out of all the species who feared her and kept their distance, she chose me. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tailies from the far reaches of space.